Hey, welcome to this old arcade. I'm Tim. Today we've got a Terminator 2 with a Wells Gardner K7000 monitor with an arcing problem. The flyback's got arcing to the chassis. Let's flip it on here and see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, you see the arcing coming from the flyback to the little metal disc on the side there. We're going to take this monitor in the shop and replace the flyback and get this thing working again, so stay tuned. Monitor in the shop here, and you can see the flyback is cracked. That's where the arcing is coming out. Lower down you can see the transformer's been heated up and there's stuff leaking out of it. And here's another view where you can see where the goo is kind of oozed out from the transformer. I've just received in a new flyback from Xanon Electronics in Texas, and we're going to replace this and try it back in our T2. Okay, so I got this flyback in today from Xanon Electronics in Texas. It's a replacement for the Wells Gardner K7000. This is a 25-inch monitor that was in our T2. Brand new flyback. I think this only ran about 25 bucks. It's a great deal. So the first thing I'm going to do is loosen up this metal bracket over the top of the flyback here so I can get it out once I unsolder it. This screw always a little tougher to get out. This bracket holds the horizontal output transistor. On the neck board, I have a few connections here. You get the yoke wire, the focus wire off here. There's a little spark gap inside the socket here that goes to. Okay. Let's save my little cover there. So that's all free. Flip the chassis over and desolder all these connections. I've always gotten by just using a solder sucker, and this soldering iron here is 20 watt to 130 watt.
Oh, what's a solder sucker?
I've never really needed a solder station. That would be nice to have. Or I'll use desoldering wick, which I prefer on ICs. While I'm desoldering, I'm also going to unsolder the leads for the horizontal output transistor. I assume it's still good, but I'm going to test it anyhow. Since we were getting a high voltage arc, that tells me kind of that the transformer was being driven, which would indicate this transistor may still be good, but you never know. Okay. There we go. A little more there. Okay. Flip the chassis over and see how close we are here. Oh, looks like we got it. Oh, that's pretty toasty. A lot of junk came out there. I think seen better days. Okay, take a look at the new transformer here. I noticed that the focus wire and there's no connector on the other wire, so we'll have to replace that connector. The pins look pretty straight. I think. Closer there. Two tabs. Looks like this version has a couple of tabs that fit down through the board that the other flyback didn't have. A little different lining up. Close though. Okay, I got it. It's kind of a challenge to get those pins lined up. Throw some solder on here. Okay, we got that soldered back in place. Before I put the iron away and check my horizontal output, I'm going to take a quick look around for any other cold solder joints. These boards usually get them in the RGB connector. I see a couple here that are questionable. We'll just heat them up where it looks like the solder's flowing evenly over the joint. Okay, those look good. Over in the horizontal width coil section, sometimes there's problems. The board tends to run hot over there. But this all looks pretty good. It's been recently recapped, so shouldn't have to recap it. Okay, alright, so let's test that horizontal output. Okay, I've got my meter here. I'm going to set it to diode test. I'm really just going to look for shorts, an internal short in the horizontal output transistor. Okay, that's good. That's good. That seems to be good. Just double check everything. Okay, all right. So I'm going to finish up all my soldering. Get the output transistor soldered back in place. Okay, that looks good. Flip the chassis over. Make the connections to the neck board. Put this screw back in place. I'm not going to put the second screw back in here because my new flyback doesn't have this little post on the top for that to screw into. Okay, so here's my focus. Put that on. Make sure I'm not crossing things so the wires will kind of flow to where they're supposed to go. Okay, that's good. Get this cover back on. Now, for this last connection, this G2, I have no connector on there. There's the old one. It's nice to have that plug-on connector. I'm tempted to try to reuse this. Let me see if I can pull this pin out and then swap the wire onto that pin and reinsert that and reuse that connector. Let's see, something sharp and pointy. Okay, I was able to pop this connector off the pin here with this real skinny screwdriver. So I'm going to try to cut this off and solder the new wire into this connector and reclaim that. Let's see. Pull the tab back up so it'll lock back in place. So I can dig some of this insulation out. Alright, so done with the old flyback. Get our new lead here. Fit that over. Kind of crimp that in place. Gotta trim some of that off. Okay. Got that crimped in place. I'm going to put some solder in there to make sure it's connected well and it's not going to pull out. Want to be careful not to make it too thick so it'll still fit into the connector here. Let me get the direction correct. It should slide back up in there. Great. Very good. Now, slip that under our neck board. Okay, good. We're ready to test this out. Okay, I've got this installed in my Simpsons cabinet here. We're going to test this out real quick and see what it looks like. Oh, I hear high voltage. That's a good sign. And I do have a picture. It seems to be working. I need to adjust the brightness and focus a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Say that's a success. Just take it back up to the movie theater and throw it in our T2 and test it out there. All right, back here at the location, we're got everything installed. We're going to flip this back on. See what we get. Oh, there we go. Looks good. Sounds good. We'll adjust this out and see what it looks like. On those flybacks, you can clean up the carbonized junk and put silicone on there to stop the arcing, but in this case it was so cracked that I just decided to replace it. Well, thanks for joining us here at this old arcade, and we'll see you soon.